Welcome to Connect with Christina. Today, I have a very special guest. She's quite famous. Her name is Brooke
Mergen.
There you go. You've seen her throwing herself at the wall, getting hit by a bull, getting hit by a red Mustang or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
What? Oh.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Injured in a car accident? Call Christina now. In a pickle? Call Christina now.
Anyway, so the amazing reels that you see on Call Christina Now. And of course, you know, alongside Tristan is made by this awesome woman, young lady. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of you guys know her. And it's funny because we go somewhere and they start talking to you. I like that last video. You really hit that map pretty hard.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed what you've been doing, like, work-wise with the company?
I absolutely love it because I've always wanted to do something where I can be creative, and this job is exactly that. And I love being able to create photos, videos, flyers, anything. Right?
Tell us about your background really quick. Where are you from and what school you're attending right now?
I was from a really small town in Minnesota, and then I moved...
Minnesota.
Minnesota. And then I moved to Mesa, but now I do online school, still through a Minnesota school, and I go to Minnesota Technical and Community College.
And you went to another university here, right?
Yep. So I went to GCU for just a semester.
Okay.
And then ended up switching my career path, and then I went home for I took kind of like a gap semester, and then I did online school in the fall.
So, did you always know you wanted to go into digital marketing?
No. It's funny because in the beginning, I actually wanted to be a nurse. And then
That's definitely completely different.
That's just not me at all. And I took a college bio class, and I noticed that I did not like anything about that whatsoever. So I was like, okay, that's not the path for me. So then going into college, I decided on psychology. And then I realized that's just not it for me either, because I love creating and I love being able to do photography and videography and things like that. So then I switched to digital marketing, and that's definitely the path for me, for sure.
Have you always been creative?
I feel like yes. You know how there's like left brain and right brain people? Yeah. There's one like math and science or whatever, and then there's like the writing and everything like that. I'm definitely that side. I've always loved writing over a math class or history or anything like that. So I feel like I've always really loved creating, whether it's writing or pictures, because when I was younger, I would always go to my brother's baseball games, and I would just start taking pictures because someone's who was on my brother's baseball team, their sister had a camera, so I just got to use that.
How old were you then?
I think I was like 13 maybe.
Okay, so pay attention. If you start picking up a camera at 13, you might be, into something. So you from Minnesota. What's Minnesota like?
Minnesota has a lot of lakes. Just in my small town of 2,000 people, we have 5 lakes.
Wait, what? 2,000 people?
Yep. So there's 5 lakes just in that town, 4 or 5, I think. But I feel like Minnesota is just very simple living. It's not rushed, at least where I'm from. Obviously, if you go into the city, it's different. But it's just slow living, just calm, I feel like. But the weather, I love having 4 seasons. Fall is gorgeous in Minnesota. Winters are cold. But yeah.
So what's the name of your high school? Because I want to shout them out for 2,000 people.
Maple Lake High School.
Okay, Maple Lake. Okay. You think they'll see this and they'll be like, oh,
I don't know.
That girl Brooke. She said, I hope not. Wait, so at a young age, I mean, you went to move here at what age?
I think I was 19.
Okay. So what made you decide to leave home and come to Arizona? Which we don't have 2,000 people here.
I wanted to go out of state to experience just life and different, because all I've ever known is my town and just the surrounding towns. And I love traveling, so I definitely wanted to experience a different state while I can. And since during the time when I was deciding if I wanted to move out of state, it was when I was deciding on what college. So I actually only ever looked at colleges outside of state. I didn't look at any colleges in Minnesota because I knew I wanted to travel or just experience a different state.
Well, that's pretty brave. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Because I often say, like, people, little kids, they think about this and imagine themselves, you know, far away, but they don't do it. They get nervous, they get scared. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you.
No.
So what allowed you to actually make that move?
I think just knowing that there's so much opportunity, and it's also good to experience something other than just everything that you've been comfortable in your whole life, just like getting outside of your comfort zone. I feel like that's what really pushed me to do it. And also just knowing that you always can go back, but just taking that risk to go is what I wanted to do. And I knew I could always just go back to my hometown or go back to even a school in Minnesota.
Right.
And then just kind of go from there. But
Except for she's not allowed to leave me. I'm just kidding. Well, and I know from knowing you, you're close to family, so I'm sure that there's moments when you miss them. So,
Yeah.
you know, for the other 19, 20-year-olds that are out there, well, how do you deal with that when you start to miss your family and you're like, I want to pack and go, but obviously you can't. So what do you do?
I have two pieces of advice for this. One, have a scheduled call or FaceTime at least once a week. For me, I call my parents every Sunday with no fail. And then the other thing is, as much as you want to go home like every month in the beginning, that might not be the best because you're just falling back into a comfortability of that. But if you just give yourself at least 3 months and then go back to go visit. But if you're going home every month, it's obviously you're going to start to miss home a ton, and it's going to be hard to build a routine in the other state that you're in if you just are constantly going back home.
Right. And how do you navigate friendships from being so far away?
I feel like FaceTime is the best, or just even if it's something silly, just sending a video to them or like just keeping in touch as best as you can through FaceTime. And I feel like now it's so easy because you can just text them or Snapchat them or send them a TikTok or something.
I'm sure they're seeing your crazy reels.
Yes.
But I mean, have they visited you or you've just visited them or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had a couple friends visit me here.
Well, which I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause
Yes.
Was it their first time here?
I don't think so. I think, actually, maybe, yeah.
So what do you and your friends actually love about Arizona? I always like to know.
Ooh. I love the mountains, and I feel like my friends can agree too, because Minnesota doesn't have them. So it's just fun to be driving and you just see a mountain or even a palm tree. It's just, we don't have that. So, and they're
Sorry.
everywhere here. So it's like so
The
normal.
things you take for granted.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Minnesota doesn't have mountains?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
that's
They
what
don't.
I said.
I know. Everyone thinks Minnesota has mountains,
I guess
but they
because
don't.
I've never been there. So
Yeah.
I just imagine it like kind of in my head like Utah with the big mountains.
No.
So
Yeah.
when you see these mountains, you're like,
Yeah, because when I'm driving back from work or something and I just see all the mountains, I'm just like, wow. Like, I don't know. It's so fun.
That's like a good perspective because even people from New York, when they come, I think their thing is like, wow, mountains.
Yeah.
But then when we go to the city, we're like, wow, buildings.
Yeah.
You know, so I think,
Yes.
you always like appreciate what you don't have.
Yeah.
I guess there's no way that since you've been here now away from them, how long?
I think 2 years.
2 years? So in those 2 years, like, have you dealt with any struggles and then they were far away and how did you handle that?
Yes, definitely. I feel like it can get easy when you get in a mindset of missing home and missing your friends there to just isolate. So that's that kind of happened to me in the beginning where I was just missing my friends at home. So I just kind of stayed in my apartment and definitely missed having my family and friends there. But just getting out and doing things and just saying yes to as much as you can, I feel like is good. And then also just like the logistics side of things, when I need an oil change or something happens with my car, like I love having my dad help me.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
side note, my car got stolen. So when that happened,
That was horrible.
Horrible having my parents in a completely different state than me, because that was not fun.
Wait, share that story, because that
Okay.
was so like crazy.
Yeah, so I was going to a coffee shop with my sister. We were driving separately. I walk out to my apartment complex. I like look to the left. My car is not there because I thought I parked there. I was like, oh, I probably parked over here. Look over there. It's gone. And then I was like, okay, look all over the parking lot. It's completely gone. So then I go to the front desk people of my apartment complex and to see if they have any cameras, because I think my car got stolen, or to see if it got towed for any reason. They said they couldn't give me the camera footage or even look at it. I was like, okay. So then I call 911. They tell me if there's any glass surrounding like where I got or where I thought I parked, and there was. So then we knew my car got stolen. And then I was on the phone with like 80 different people that day, with insurance, 911 people, my parents, all of that. Also, it was my dad's birthday that day.
My
So I
God.
call him. I'm like, hey, so my car got stolen, but like happy birthday. So that was awesome. And then after that, they basically were just keeping a lookout on it, and then they ended up finding it. I think my car was gone officially for 6 days or something like that, but I had a rental car for a while because my car ended up needing to get fixed because a lot was wrong with it.
And where did they find the car?
They found it 2 minutes from my apartment, just in a random movie theater parking lot.
And
Yeah.
what? Okay, this is gonna be good. What brand or what kind of car?
Yeah, so it's a Kia, and Kias are known for getting stolen, I have found out.
Come on, Kia, let's fix that.
Yes, please.
Well, that was definitely not. Even from us, we felt so bad for you when you
Yeah.
were going through that.
I'm a part of that statistic right
Yeah,
there.
you're part of a statistic now. I don't know why though. Why Kias? Just easier?
Oh, I know this, because you can take your phone charger and all you have to do is like hit the steering column and you can turn on the car with a literal phone charger.
What?
Yeah,
But the thing is, guys, there's cameras everywhere.
yeah,
Can't escape that stuff anymore.
yep. So,
Hopefully they find the people who did that.
yeah.
So
I
they
still
don't do it
haven't-
to someone else, you know.
Yeah, they like dusted my car and everything, but
And nothing.
nothing. I haven't ever heard back.
Because remember, we're like, if the damages was too high, then they won't return the car.
Oh, it had to be marked missing for 2 weeks
Oh,
before
okay.
they could mark it as a total loss.
Got it.
Yeah.
So because it was like,
Since they found it in 6 days or whatever, it was
they borrowed
repairable.
it for 6
Yeah,
days.
I just lended them my car. Yeah,
And then left food. What
Yeah.
was in there?
there was like random syrup in the back of my car, and then they took my pepper spray, which I was upset about that because I want my pepper spray back, and luckily I didn't have anything valuable in my car, so
Don't
they didn't
ever leave valuables in
no.
your car.
No. So besides like actually stealing my car, they didn't steal anything else.
So they borrowed your car, ate pizza
Yeah.
in it, had syrup, and
Yep.
and returned it, essentially.
Yep.
That's crazy. I want to talk to you about something more serious. Brooke, we've talked about anxiety before and quite a lot, actually. So can I ask you some questions about that?
Yes.
In your words, as a young, very brave 20-year-old who left Minnesota and here living in the city by herself, essentially, because Big Sis is about to be a doctor and busy and not around. I want to hear it from you. Like, what is anxiety?
I think it's really important to know anxiety isn't just being scared. It goes deeper than that. It feels like a mental block or a thing sometimes you feel like you can't control. It can happen at any times when you don't want it to. It can just feel like an overwhelming amount of just thoughts racing 24/7 in your head about something that's completely made up, or you don't even have any evidence if it's true. It's just in your mind. But it's far more than just being like, oh, I'm nervous about this. It goes deeper than that.
And how have you like dealt and navigated that through the years?
Yeah, I think navigating anxiety is definitely not just a overnight thing that you hear once and you're like, okay, I'm better. It's a daily thing that you just have to kind of reroute your mind in and take your thoughts captive of. If something that really has helped me is you're not your negative thoughts, or you're not the thoughts. Like, there's no evidence to back that up.
Say that again. That's powerful.
Yeah. You're not your negative thoughts, and your negative thoughts aren't true because there's no evidence to back that up. Because a lot of the times, at least for me, anxiety also like varies completely from social anxiety to just anxiety about specific things. It can be a whole different, there's a lot of different types, but for me it was specifically social anxiety. So I already had all of these ideas and storylines and scenarios built up in my head that I've created that I think people think of me. So then it makes me nervous and it makes me overthink every single thing that I'm doing because I've already thought this in my head. Ahead of time before I've even gone to the event or going out with people or anything like that. I've already thought what they think of me, which isn't true. So then I just had to reroute my mind of, okay, there's no evidence to back that up. Like, you can't just say that. There's nothing to say that that's true.
And when in your life did you notice that you were dealing with that at all? When was that? When did it become like an actual thing for you?
I think 10th grade of high school was really when it shifted, and that's when I had my first panic attack, when I was like, okay, this isn't just me being a little like nervous or scared. It's like deeper. Like, I never have experienced that type of fear before.
And what did you do in that moment?
I had my friends with me, and at first when I experienced it, it kind of builds up. At first you get a little, just, you notice your thoughts, and then for me at least, after I notice these thoughts, I just need to be by myself to just regroup. And then my friends came to me to see if I was okay. And then once when someone asked me, okay, I like everything just overwhelms me. And then I feel like I can't breathe. My mind is racing. My heart is racing. I get super hot, but then I'm also really cold. My hands are shaking. It's just not a fun experience, but my friends just calm me down by like telling me to breathe. And also, I'm a verbal person. I need to process everything like out loud, so they just ask me questions too to help me.
I have so many questions on that. So first, when like other than that one, like being out here, if you've ever dealt with that again, how did you deal with it to come out of it?
I think just taking deep breaths.
Like, do you remove yourself, or like how does that work? I mean, if you're in a situation, you know?
Almost every single time, if I'm in a group, I can sense it coming. So then I remove myself, go to the bathroom, or go anywhere where I can be by myself. And normally, since I can feel it coming, I know that I'm about to have a panic attack. So then I just try to breathe. But then once when it happens, I just try to like grip myself and just like take deep breaths, or I try to get somebody around me that can help me just breathe, or just ask me questions, calm me down, ask why I'm like feeling this way.
And so on the other end, like for us or, you know, around you, what's the approach if we do see that? What's the best way to approach it?
I think it varies specifically for the person, because I have friends who've experienced that, and all they want to do is just help you like breathe, but then not talk about it. And for me, I'm a verbal processor, so I need somebody to be asking me questions, but some people just want to be listened to. And I think that's super important, because some people operate in a way where you they just need to be listened to. They don't want advice. They just need to simply be heard. And that's really important to know about a person, and just ask them, like, too, maybe on a time when they're not having a panic attack, but just kind of taking it with caution about how they operate.
I guess it would be, you would just need to be kind no matter what, because you don't know if that person is verbal, like how you said, you verbally process it.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe just stay kind.
Yes, and just if you don't know the person, I think just helping them breathe and giving them a hug even, I don't know, or just something like that would be good if you see somebody doing that. That's a good place to start, and then you can kind of sense it from there if they want to talk about it or not.
Are there like other advice that you can give out to, I mean, I would say especially high school kids, college kids, or young professionals, if that's something that you deal with, what advice would you have?
I think the number one advice that really has helped me with anxiety is just remembering you're not your negative thoughts, but then also replacing those thoughts with truth and something that you can fall back on. Because if you think about it, a negative thought is going to kind of over-consume you, but if you just replace it, or if you just disregard it, something else is going to replace that, and you have the choice to what that is. But if you say, if one of your thoughts is like, oh, nobody likes me, and then you just leave it like that, and if you're just like, oh, that's not true, whatever, but then you need to replace it, because something's always going to replace that thought, but you just get to decide if it's going to be truthful and positive or if it's going to be negative.
You know, you're going to help a lot of people with these things you've just shared. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
And it's funny because some people, when they first meet you, they think you're just so quiet and so sweet. You are very sweet, but you're not quiet.
Yes.
And I think your creativeness like shows in your work too. You know, and you've done such a phenomenal job, and it's crazy to see like your progress and you know like where you're going. And you would never, and I think that's important to know, like you never know if someone even deals with anxiety at all, because you just don't know. Like I wouldn't have known if you didn't, share that with me. And obviously I'm happy that you're such an open book about it, so that you can help other people, because that's not easy.
Yeah.
But how you said earlier, it's not your
negative thoughts aren't yours.
Yeah. I think that should be like a tattoo or something. Like that's powerful. And then also, was there a quote that maybe you go by just in general? What is it?
I honestly think it's that, like, you are not your negative thoughts. That the first time I heard that back in 10th grade, that just like hit something in me where it's like, whoa, like I can control this. I'm not every single thought that I've ever thought about myself.
That's huge. Well, I am extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
And I know we're going to have you back on, especially when I'm not so rough or on the edges, because it's been a minute, but he'll edit it. Anyways, do you want to say hello and leave a message to your parents?
Hi, Mom and Dad. I just want to thank you guys, because you guys have gotten me where I am today, and you guys have raised me in a very good way where I'm able to remember where I came from, but also not be stuck there. You help me grow in a different way, and you guys are always my number one supporters and make me laugh, and also just make me confident in who I am. I love you guys.
And lastly, before you get to leave a message for the Brooke from 5 years from now.
Ooh, from 5 years from
Yeah.
now.
So you would be 25. Leave a message for the 25-year-old Brooke.
Oh, boy.
Take your time.
Yeah, I want to think
I have
about
tissues
this.
somewhere. I'm kidding.
I hope that whatever you're doing, you're not second-guessing yourself, and that you are taking one day at a time, and you are still following your heart, following your dreams. I also hope that you've been traveling, and hopefully you have a boyfriend.
There it is. Brooke, thanks for coming to connect with Christina, and I'll
Thank
see you at
you.
work.
Yes.
Bye.